Millions of people gather in choirs and congregations every week to sing, "I have decided to follow Jesus." The melody is gentle, repetitive, and familiar to generations of worshipers. These lyrics are a word-for-word transcript of a public execution. In the early 20th century, this story began in a remote mountain village in northeastern India. The region was home to tribes known for aggressive headhunting, where survival depended on total submission to the village leadership. In 1904, following a massive religious revival in Wales, a lone missionary ventured into these mountains. He ignored warnings of the tribe's violence, believing the villagers deserved to hear the gospel. The missionary's arrival set two systems on a collision course. One was a society governed by lethal force. The other was a faith that prioritized spiritual conviction over survival. One tribesman and his family accepted this new message. They began sharing their faith with others in the tribe, a move that immediately drew the attention of the village leadership. Upon discovering this sudden ideological shift, the chief ordered the family seized and dragged into the village center. The chief gave the man a choice: publicly renounce this new faith immediately, or face the consequences. The tribesman responded with the first verse of the song, "I have decided to follow Jesus. I am not turning back." This first response established a baseline for the conflict. The man claimed the right to choose his own beliefs, in a village where the chief held the power of life and death over every resident. To break the man's will, the chief ordered the execution of the tribesman's children in front of him. The chief repeated his demand, certain that the loss of his children would force the man to yield. The father replied, "Though none go with me, still I will follow. No turning back." In a final attempt to exert control, the chief executed the man's wife, stripping away the last of his family. Now facing his own death, the tribesman looked the chief in the eyes. He spoke the final stanza, "The cross before me, the world behind me." The chief then ordered the man's execution. The three stanzas sung globally today provide a historical record of a human being losing his family and his life in real time. Silence followed the execution. The chief's authority appeared secure, having removed the source of the dissent. This illustrates the grain of wheat principle, the paradox where destroying a messenger often amplifies their message. The villagers had watched a man maintain his conviction through the ultimate trauma. Their witnessing of his resolve led them to abandon the chief's authority and convert to the tribesman's faith. The chief himself eventually converted to the very faith he had tried to eradicate, recognizing that his violence was powerless against such conviction. The tribesman's final words became the anthem of the village and eventually spread across the world. Coercive violence failed to break the man's conviction. By killing the tribesman, the chief inadvertently turned his final words into an anthem that has outlived the tribe's isolation to echo worldwide.